Jey Uso just got fired. Let that hit you. One of the most beloved, most electrifying, most over superstars in WWE today. A man who has the entire arena on their feet every single time his music hits, just got fired by Nick Aldis live on SmackDown. And the reason he got fired is going to make your blood boil. Because Jey Uso did what any of us would have done. He fought back. He found the person who has been making his life a living nightmare for weeks, the mystery attacker who has been lurking in the shadows and picking him apart from behind like a coward, and he destroyed him backstage. No hesitation, no mercy. Just Jey Uso unleashing every ounce of frustration, rage, and pain that has been building inside him since this whole situation began. And Nick Aldis fired him for it. Comment right now and tell me if you think that firing was justified, because I already know what the majority of this audience is going to say and I want to see those numbers in the comment section exploding. But here is the part that is going to send you completely over the edge. The identity of that mystery attacker. The shocking individual that Jey Uso finally got his hands on backstage on SmackDown. Because when that face was revealed, when the camera caught who was actually behind those attacks, who had been hiding in the shadows and systematically targeting one of the most popular superstars on the entire roster, the reaction in that arena was unlike anything we have heard in a very long time. Disbelief, outrage, pure electric shock running through every single person watching. And if you are not already sharing this video, do it right now because your friends and your family and every wrestling fan in your circle needs to know who this person is and what they just did to Jey Uso's career. Share this immediately. This is not something that can wait. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of this mystery attacker situation because context is everything here and understanding the full picture makes what happened on SmackDown hit even harder. For weeks, Jey Uso has been getting blindsided, attacked from behind in hallways, jumped in parking lots, ambushed in locker rooms when he was alone and vulnerable. Every single attack was calculated to cause maximum damage while minimizing any chance of identification. Whoever was behind this knew Jey's schedule, knew his patterns, knew exactly when and where to strike to avoid being seen. This was not random aggression. This was a stalking operation disguised as a rivalry. And the entire time, Jey Uso had to perform. Had to go out in front of that crowd and deliver at the highest level while looking over his shoulder every single week not knowing when the next attack was coming or where it was going to come from. Think about what that does to a person mentally. Think about the psychological toll of being hunted on your own job while being expected to smile and perform and give the audience everything they came to see. Jey Uso handled it with more grace and more toughness than most people in that locker room could have managed. But grace and toughness have limits. And on SmackDown, those limits were finally reached. Jey found him backstage. We do not know exactly how it happened. Whether Jey was tipped off, whether he set a trap of his own, or whether fate simply put them in the same corridor at the same moment. But what we do know is that when Jey Uso laid eyes on his mystery attacker, something primal took over. Every week of frustration, every blindside attack, every moment of helplessness and humiliation that this person had put him through, it all came flooding out at once. Jey Uso went to work. The backstage area of SmackDown became a war zone and the mystery attacker found out very quickly that hunting Jey Uso from the shadows is a completely different experience from standing in front of him face to face when he is fully locked in and fully enraged. The destruction was total, and it was deserved. Now let's talk about Nick Aldis, because his decision to fire Jey Uso in the aftermath of this is genuinely one of the most infuriating moments WWE has produced in recent memory. Nick Aldis walked into that situation and looked at the wreckage, looked at everything that had been done to Jey Uso over the past several weeks, looked at the documented history of unprovoked attacks, looked at a man who finally snapped after being pushed beyond any reasonable breaking point, and decided that Jey Uso was the problem. Jey Uso was the one who needed to be removed from SmackDown. Jey Uso was the one whose actions warranted termination. Not the mystery attacker. Not the person who started all of this. Not the coward who spent weeks jumping Jey from behind and then disappeared back into the shadows. No, the man who finally fought back is the one who loses his job. Drop a comment right now and tell me if Nick Aldis made the right call, because I have a feeling this comment section is about to become one of the most heated we have ever had on this channel. Here is what makes this firing even more complicated and even more enraging when you really think about it. Nick Aldis is not a stupid man. He is not someone who makes decisions carelessly or without understanding the implications. So when Nick Aldis looks at this situation and chooses to fire Jey Uso, you have to ask yourself what his actual motivation is. Is this genuinely about maintaining order and professionalism on SmackDown? Or is there something else going on? Is there a connection between Nick Aldis and the mystery attacker that we are not yet seeing clearly? Because the decision to punish the victim while the aggressor walks free does not happen in a vacuum. That kind of decision has an agenda behind it. And the more you examine the timing and the execution of that firing, the more the questions pile up. WWE is not answering those questions yet. But Ringrumble 1 is going to keep pulling at this thread until the full picture emerges. Now let's address the identity of the mystery attacker directly, because this is the moment the entire video has been building toward and the reveal deserves the full weight of its impact. The individual who has been systematically targeting Jey Uso, the shocking face behind weeks of calculated, cowardly backstage attacks on one of SmackDown's most beloved superstars, is someone with direct history with Jey. Someone who had access. Someone who knew enough about Jey's movements and schedule to execute those attacks with the precision that we witnessed week after week. This was never a random enemy. This was always personal. And when you look at the history, when you look at the relationship and the buried grievances and the professional jealousies that have been simmering beneath the surface, the identity makes a horrifying kind of sense. This person smiled to Jey Uso's face while planning to destroy him from behind. That is not just a rivalry. That is a betrayal. And betrayal in professional wrestling. Real, deep, personal betrayal from someone you trusted or at least coexisted with, always produces the most compelling and the most emotionally devastating stories this industry has to offer. The arena's reaction said everything. That gasp, that eruption of noise, that mixture of shock and outrage and excitement that only happens when WWE does something that genuinely surprises its audience, that reaction was earned. WWE protected this secret effectively, which in the modern era of leaks and spoilers is an achievement in itself. And the payoff landed exactly as hard as it needed to. But here is the problem, and this is where the real conversation begins. Jey Uso is now fired. The man who was wronged, who was hunted, who was attacked repeatedly without provocation, is now the man without a job. And the mystery attacker, the backstabbing coward who orchestrated this entire campaign against one of SmackDown's most popular stars, is still employed. Still walking those hallways. Still breathing the same air as the locker room that Jey Uso is now locked out of. How does that sit with you? Because it should not sit well. It should make you angry. It should make you want to scream at your screen. And that anger is completely valid because what happened to Jey Uso on SmackDown is fundamentally unjust in every way that matters. Now let's think about where this goes from here, because the firing of Jey Uso does not end this story, it ignites it. Jey Uso without the restrictions of a WWE contract is a different kind of dangerous. He does not have to follow SmackDown rules. He does not have to answer to Nick Aldis. He does not have to wait for sanctioned match opportunities or go through official channels to get his hands on the person who did this to him. Jey Uso fired is Jey Uso unleashed. And the mystery attacker, whoever they are, should be losing sleep right now because the leash has been removed and the consequences are coming with no referee, no authority figure, and no rulebook to hide behind. And Nick Aldis needs to look very carefully at what he has created. Because firing Jey Uso did not solve the problem. It removed a parameter. It took a man who was already pushed to his absolute limit and told him that the system will not protect him and will not fight for him. And those are exactly the words you never want to say to someone with nothing left to lose. This SmackDown changed everything. The mystery is solved but the war is just beginning. Jey Uso may be fired but he is far from finished. And the shocking individual who has been hiding in shadows for weeks just found out that shadows cannot protect you forever. Comment your full reaction right now. Tell me what you think about Nick Aldis firing Jey. Tell me if you saw the mystery attacker's identity coming. Tell me where you think this story goes from here because I want this comment section flooded. Share this video everywhere. Ringrumble 1 is the only place breaking this down at the level it deserves. Like the video, subscribe, and smash that notification bell because this story is moving fast and you cannot afford to miss a single update. Jey Uso got fired for fighting back, and WWE will regret that decision very soon. Ringrumble 1. We stay ready, always.